Good morning, y'all. How y'all doing? How you doing? Welcome to Jarrett Talks interview as I interview people that have their own YouTube channel or business. Today I have a very special guest. He is actually live on his own channel too. This is actually his first time ever on my channel. I've been on his channel a couple times in the chat, learning uh tips and tricks and stuff. I'm not in the other stuff, but I'm glad to get a chance to, get to know him behind the scene, behind the YouTube and stuff. Um, to the stage, we got Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. How you doing today this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So tell the people that do not know about you, how you started your channel, how the name Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle come from.
Well, my channel comes from the fact that I was named Ninja Turtle by my motorcycle club. I ride a motorcycle that has Ninja Turtles all over it. And FIRE is Financial Independence, Retire Early. I retired early, and so I'm doing YouTube as my retirement hobby.
So what made you start your channel? What made you start your channel? Did Ismael tell you? Did you want to start your channel, or did Ismael like, hey, I want you to start your channel? What came about? What came about?
Well, I started my channel just because I watched a lot of YouTube, but I wanted to give back to the community. Mm-hmm. And I was helping people in my community with their money. And my wife said, you need to go on YouTube and help people with their money because you're so passionate about personal finance.
Mm-hmm. So what was the first, let's say, who was the first YouTuber that you watched, that you learned from, that made you start your channel?
Well, my channel is like a combination of a bunch of people's channels.
Mm-hmm.
There's this guy that just sits out in his backyard, right? Steve's Retirement Corner. Okay. And I said, that's all I want to do. I just want to sit out in my backyard and just talk to people. Well, that didn't work so well because I tried sitting out in my garage, but it was too hot. So now I sit in my office, which is air conditioned. And so it's not so much about sitting outside on the back porch, but I wanted my channel to be relaxed, not to be something that I had to work 10, 12 hours a week at. And he seemed to just go out there and just sit there and just talk. And that's how my channel started. Now, as my channel has progressed, I've now, I go in and I do research and I bring information to my people on my channel.
Mm-hmm. So what the were you nervous when you started your channel? Were you nervous getting on the camera?
Absolutely. If you go back and watch my first video, which is my origin story, where I tell about how I used to be homeless and how I went from homeless to financial freedom. It's a mess. I have no idea how to talk to the camera. I still don't. And it's been over a year now. Wow. However, I'm a little more comfortable today than I was a year ago.
Now, when you mentioned about your first video, that's my next question. Do you ever watch, when you get done watching your videos or go live, do you ever watch them back and just learn from what you've done? And you just take notes from what you need to work on better?
Well, I'm going to say not in the beginning. First of all, I hate looking at myself on camera. The other part is I really don't like the sound of my voice. I didn't like pictures and stuff like that. So in the beginning, I did not. However, once I started to learn YouTube more, let's say in the last 3 months or so, I was told to go back and rewatch my videos so at least they get one view, right? And that made sense to me. So I do go back and watch the videos, but I will tell you, I teach in colleges and we get reviews back from students, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're horrible. Students either love you or they hate you. So I do not go back and look at those because it hurts my feelings when a student hates me. So I don't go back and look at my videos looking for what I did wrong. what I do is I made a list of how to start and do my videos. It's a checklist. Now, if I follow my checklist, everything goes okay. If I do not follow my checklist, then I make mistakes on my videos.
Do you ever, like, before you hit the live button, do you ever, like, sit there and talk to yourself and say, hey, there's going to be a good live, there's going to be a good live, and maybe not, and trying not to, mess up anything. You ever do that before you go live? They hit the go live button.
Yeah, what I do is I tell myself that it is going to be what it is going to be.
Mhm.
Now, hopefully, I have some talking points because my very first live, first of all, my first few lives, I didn't even know how to go live. And I didn't ask anybody. I just thought I could figure it out. And
Mhm.
apparently I did it wrong. So people weren't even there. But once I learned how to do it, then what I do is I have a checklist of talking points so that I don't go off the rails and just start rambling. And
Mhm.
that's what I don't want to do, because I will just go off to the left and start rambling about something like how I don't like advertisers, and how advertisers are just out there to take your money, right? I don't want to go off on that tangent, but I could easily go off on something to the left of the points that I'm trying to make.
Do you ever, um, do you have, do you have a schedule where you go live, or you just go live randomly?
I do have a schedule because my schedule is what fits my life in retirement. I have a lot of things going on. I have rental properties. I have teaching that I do. I have chores that I do around the house. And I've been doing that a lot this week. So
Right.
I have a lot of things going on. So I have a schedule, just like I have a schedule of when to grade certain classes, like when their assignments are due. I have a schedule of when I go live, which is 10:15 Friday mornings, Central Standard Time. Now, I realize that YouTube puts it in everyone's time zone,
Mhm.
but I seem to find it good to have my particular time zone listed in all of my community posts.
So what? So when you do go live, do you expect a a good crowd when you go live, or you just go with the flow?
Well, I have a very small channel and a very small community.
Mhm.
However, I just did my 700 subscriber party last Friday.
Congratulations, by the way. I was in that chat, by the way.
Oh,
Congratulations.
yeah,
We don't know.
thank you. And so I had more people last Friday than ever before, but I never expect more than 2 people or 3 people. And that's why I have my list of talking points, even if nobody shows up. And I was told this by Aslan before I started going live. She said, Daryl, even if nobody shows up, you just have your points and you just talk. So I never expect anyone to be there. I just have my points that I'm going to talk about. And if somebody shows up, that's great. And over time, more and more people are showing up.
Okay, it's not. I'm asking a lot of my guests. Short do not count. What is the longest video have you posted between like between 5 to 10 minutes long, and what's the longest live have you done? Um, what the longest live?
Well, no, I love doing shorts, and I do those because they're fun. I'm not doing those to try to get monetized, right?
Right.
But my normal videos, which I've learned over the last 2 or 3 months, everything I know now, I've learned over the last 2 or 3 months, is that my videos should be 10 to 12 minutes. And so that's my goal, is to make my videos 10 to 12 minutes. However, yesterday, I'm still editing a video of me with a chainsaw. I've never had a chainsaw before. I went out yesterday with a chainsaw, and that video is actually 25 minutes. And so that's a vlog of the entire day of me chainsawing things. So that one is longer, but normally 10 minutes. The longest live I've done, I think, was 2 hours. And that was one of my first ones. I do not do 2-hour lives. My live is scheduled for the 10:15 Central Standard Time in the morning on Fridays. It's 1 hour. I do not do 3-hour lives. I don't do pop-up lives. I do 1 hour. I'm in, I'm out. I have other stuff to do. And I figure my people have other stuff to do. Now, granted, 10:15 on a Friday morning, most people are at work. So I really don't expect a lot of people to be able to come to my live. Yes, YouTube analytics says that you should do your lives at 7 p.m. when everybody's at home, right? Well, 7 p.m. I'm busy. See, live YouTube is a hobby for me. However, I do want to mention that when I get monetized, all of the profits from YouTube after I pay taxes goes to the homeless in my community. So I'm not on YouTube to try to make $100,000 a year. I'm just not here for that. But I am here to do community service.
Wow, they got me on that one. That's real deep out there. But if you weren't doing YouTube, what would you have a backup plan if you weren't doing YouTube? If you weren't, like right now, if you weren't doing YouTube, what was your backup plan? If you had one.
Well, okay. A couple of things. When you ask for a backup plan, I'm not sure if you're asking for a way to earn money.
Okay. What I mean is, if you weren't doing YouTube, will you be doing like? Will you have another? Well, do you have like a side hustle, or do like, let's say like DoorDashing, or something that keep you busy, something like that. Instead, if YouTube, if Dr. Little Turtle was on YouTube, we have like a side hustle plan. If you weren't doing it,
and yes, I've always had side hustles for many, many years, because when you come from being homeless, you need something to help boost your income. That's one way to get out of poverty, which is where I was. However, if I was not doing YouTube, I would be fishing, right? Because I love to fish.
Okay.
And I just did an interview with The Source, and he said, you should go fishing, right? And you should record your fishing. Well, that's going to become part of the future of my YouTube channel. I don't know how that ties in with personal finance, and I can connect fishing to personal finance, but I love to fish. And what I've talked about is, if you have something that you're doing like DoorDash, when you mentioned DoorDash, record it, so that not only are you having fun or you're making money, but you're also making double the money by YouTube views. So I will record my fishing, and hopefully that will help me to get more watch hours and get monetized. And again, I can donate more to the homeless. My side hustle is my teaching, right? So that is like my primary side hustle right now. When I get Social Security, then the teaching goes away, and Social Security really will be my side hustle. I'll invest 100% of my Social Security money in the stock market.
Well, think of that. Since this your main channel, since we don't live on the main channel, do you ever think about setting up a second channel? You talking about fishing? Are you thinking about putting a fishing video on a second video on a second channel, or you want to put it on? So you want to have to be separate. So you want to separate your main channel by finance and stuff with like fishing on your second channel? Are you thinking about?
I want to thank you for that idea, because that's a brilliant idea. See, I did not think of that, right? And I hear other people, like I have friends who retired early up in Canada, and they talk about their finances, but now they travel the world. And so what they've done is they've separated their updating their finances and how they're funding their travel with their travel content, like using credit card points to get free stays in hotels. They've separated their channel. So first, the source came up with the idea that I should be recording my fishing. Now you've come up with the idea that I should have a second channel. I would do that. At first, when you first said it, I said, no, I'm not doing a second channel because I don't want to do the work and blah, blah, blah. However, it's a brilliant idea. And that's what I mean is I learned from other people. And so he gave me the idea of fishing. You gave me the idea of separating out the channel, which I have no problem doing because now I know how to do YouTube efficiently. When I first started in YouTube, I spent hours and hours and hours recording videos and editing videos.
Right.
I have that down to a 1 hour process right now.
Right.
So I could record fishing videos and have that down to a 30-minute process. Thank you for telling me to split out the channels.
The reason I told people that all the time get a second channel is because you have to be just in case whatever happens to your main channel, you always have a backup. You always have a backup channel to use, so you don't have to lose your progress on your main channel. So that's why me and Source I have good ideas. Make sure you're safe and make sure you have your finance channel off the chain because you're on the way to 1,000 right now. Smooth sailing. But I'll put that aside. But next question is, what the pros and cons being a YouTuber on your side? What's your definition of being a pro? What the pros and cons being a YouTuber and the name fire and what Dr. Nintendo? What the pros and cons?
Well, the pro is that I don't need the money. So I don't have to hustle as hard as people that need the money. And what I mean by that is everybody's on YouTube for a reason. And I really applaud and support, one, small YouTubers, two, people who are trying to pay off debt. I watch a lot of debt payoff channels because these people have a mission. They're on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
One is on a mission to make money to get an attorney, right? I applaud people that are doing things. Some people are on here to build wealth. What I'm saying is I don't have to. So I'm not going to make YouTube a job, right? I'm retired. I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I don't need another 9 to 5. So that's a pro.
Mm-hmm.
The con part of it is that I don't do YouTube enough that I've gotten monetized in 90 days and I've got 2,000 subscribers, within 3 months. That's the con part of what I'm doing. So my growth is slow, it's steady. I have to become okay with that because I watch other people blow right by me, right? And I'm like, well, their content is good, their editing is good, right? Faith Marie, Unscripted, right? Fabulous editing, right? She knows how to work an editor. I am a retired IT guy, so I can work software, right? I can teach myself software. I can learn software. I don't want to spend the time. Now, have I learned a lot more software since I've been doing YouTube? Yes. I've learned all kinds of things and taught myself all kinds of editing things since I've been doing it. But I'm not taking a class on how to work Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm not going to do that. I'll teach myself what I need to know for the channel, but that's a con, is that I'm just not growing as fast.
When you get done making a videos or live, you ever go through the comments and see if they are positive? If not, do you keep them or you delete them?
Okay, I'm going to tell you, you just caught me. Okay, it's something in that, in my lives, I tried to hit a setting that allows me to go back and see the comments because when I'm doing a live, it's hard for me to pay attention to the comments. My mind just can't multitask like that. Right. And so I set up this setting so that I could go back and watch the live and see the comments. Mm-hmm. Well, I never do it because when that live is done, I'm exhausted. even after 1 hour, I'm exhausted and I just go on with my day, right? But like my students' feedback, either they love you or they hate you, you know? And I've only had, I think, one negative feedback, right? Which is I did a video or a short, really. But anyway, it was a video about my ancestors. But I did a short that said, I hope that I make my ancestors proud, right? And some guy came on, I'm assuming it was a guy, that said, so you want reparations? And I was like, no, I'm going to buy back my ancestors' land. You know, my great-great-grandfather owned a lot of land. After he was freed from slavery, he owned a lot of land. I want to buy that land back. And I have the money to do it. But this guy thought I was asking the country for reparations. So that's the only time I've ever seen anything that was off the mark.
Wow. Wow. What you do with it? Do you keep on, or you just like left alone, or what?
Well, yeah, and one, I didn't like jump back at the person. I just said, no, I'm not asking for reparations. You know, one thing about me is I don't want to be controversial. Okay, I don't want to bring up any like celebrity gossip. I don't want to bring up anything controversial, right? Whether that be politics, because one of the YouTubers that I watch, he's a huge YouTuber. He said, if you want to get monetized quickly, right? I mean, real fast, bring up politics, because half of the people will hate you in your comments. The other half of the people will love you in your comments. But everybody will watch and you'll get your watch hours, but you've got to have thick skin because everybody's going to be criticizing you. Well, I don't want to get monetized like that. So I am here in retirement to enjoy life, to have peace and serenity. That's all I want.
All right. That's a good way to know. Since I never bring up the monetization thing to anybody, what would you do if when you do hit the monetization? What the plan? What's the lowdown for if you do hit the monetization?
Well, my plan one is not to have like merch. I really support people having merch because anything you could do to increase your income gets you closer to financial freedom. I'm at financial freedom in that I have just enough money to pay all my bills and to live and go on vacation. So I'm good. But I will not have merch. I won't have courses on how to do YouTube or courses on how to invest in the stock market. That's not my thing. Remember my soapbox thing about advertisers separating you from your money? I want the AdSense. I want the advertisers' money to give to the homeless. That's my crazy thinking, is that I want to take the advertisers' money. I don't want your money. I want the advertisers' money to give to the homeless in my community.
What the good thing being a YouTuber and what the bad thing being a YouTuber? I know I'm just asking about the pros and cons, but what the good part and the bad part of it?
Well, the good part is that I'm meeting people that I never would have met before. I mean, I'm making friends. You know, there's a lady that I watch in the UK, right? Her name is Miranda. And I'm learning about the UK retirement system, right? But I'm also learning about rental properties in the UK because I have rental properties here, and she's teaching me how she manages her rental properties there, right? And she's like this young lady that's just building wealth. I mean, like, you know, like I wish I had done when I was younger. And so that's my point, is I'm meeting people from all over the world, right? Oh God, what is it? I'm trying to think. There is a channel, Lakeside Laura. That's the channel I was trying to think of.
I'm actually surprised at channel. I know you're talking about, yes.
Yeah. Lakeside Laura, I did not know. I thought it was like going to be a channel about beautiful views of lakes. I don't know what I thought with the name, but what she does is she has these bowls and she makes this sound with the bowls, and it's so peaceful. See, I never would have had that if I wasn't on YouTube, right? I never would have made that connection through the source. And so I have her as a shortcut on my desktop. Anytime I need peace and serenity, I go to her videos and listen to the sounds and meditate, right? So the cons are that the same thing, that you meet a lot of people, and it's hard to support 1,000 people on 1,000 channels, and everybody's going live at the same time. And so you have to pick and choose whose live can you sit in. Now, if I'm sitting in your live, I am not grading my students. I'm not taking care of my wife. I'm not taking care of my dog. I'm sitting in your live. And that's the hard part of YouTube, is trying to find that time. So I watch a lot of replays of lives, but I have a bunch of people that I follow, and I make sure that I watch their replays.
What the? Okay. Oh, so when you do get done with all everything, everything with the YouTube and everything else, do you ever like say, I think I did a good job? Do you ever say anything positive to yourself when you, after everything's done and from the YouTube work from the YouTube? Do you ever like say, I think I did a good job? Do you
You
ever
know,
like,
I don't. I'm very critical of myself. And so I always think that I've messed everything up. And whether or not a video gets a lot of views, my personal view is, well, I did the best I could, but I'm not as good as so-and-so, and I'm not as good as so-and-so. I'm never enough. I'm never measuring up to other YouTubers.
mhm.
So I have to tell myself, Daryl, you did the best you could. You're retired. You're not a professional YouTuber. And so I just hope and pray that my stuff works enough. And what I'm finding is, especially from last Friday, is that I have a community, right? And what they say on YouTube is your vibe attracts your tribe.
Mhm.
And so that's what I have, is I have a vibe. It's starting to attract a tribe. Yes, it's taken over a year, but it's starting to attract a tribe.
So what have you learned for the past year and since you've been on YouTube? What have you learned?
Well, I've learned that I need to make YouTube efficient. If I'm going to keep doing YouTube, one of the things I see on YouTube are a lot of creators have fabulous channels and they just fade away or they just disappear.
Mhm.
They have a lot of followers. We're there every single time they post. And then all of a sudden they're gone. Now, it could be for different reasons. I just don't know. But my thing is longevity. I want to be doing YouTube for the next 10 years. So I don't want to make YouTube so hard that it becomes a chore, right? So if I'm having fun on YouTube, like I was talking about fishing, I could be fishing and recording my fishing for the next 10 years.
Right. So as we close up, um, what when you do, let me put it this way. When if you decide to make a fishing video or a fishing YouTube channel, um, are you gonna focus on that channel? Are you gonna focus on that channel more on the finance, or are you going to get focused on finance before you get on the the fishing video?
Well, my real answer, okay, the politically correct answer is that, yeah, I'm going to focus on my personal finance channel. One, that's my passion,
Right,
right?
right,
But let's just say, because I haven't started the fishing channel yet, and these people are very popular. These people that go fishing, like cat fishing at night, very
right,
popular.
right.
If I did that and that channel took off, right? then
No,
I
it
would have
will.
to focus more on that channel.
Right.
However, my passion will always be personal finance because personal finance is personal and money affects everybody's life. You know, I have a grandson who may need money in the future with his disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm setting aside money for his future disabilities. See, so money affects everybody's life, whether you have money or don't have money, whether you're on YouTube to make money or you're just doing YouTube as a retirement vehicle to help you in retirement, right? My friend Julie on Happy on Monday, retirement, YouTube is sending her money so she doesn't have to pull from her retirement accounts. That's a beautiful thing that YouTube can supplement your retirement.
If you have any questions for Dr. Little Turtle, please hashtag doctor. Say the doctor will answer your question. If you do have a question for him for anything we talked about, top hashtag the doctor Turtle, and he will answer your question. Um, do you love what you do on YouTube? I'm not putting you on the spot, but do you love what you do on YouTube?
Well, I do because, you know, one of the things I do is we have a monthly meeting with my family, both my side of the family and my wife's side of the family, and we talk about finance so that we can educate family members and help lift them up, right, into whatever financial future they want. So personal finance is my passion with my family, with helping the homeless in my community. And so
Mm-hmm.
now I'm doing it on YouTube. And somebody said, see, I think small, but somebody said, what if your channel grows so much that you could start a nonprofit to help the homeless, not just donate YouTube proceeds? Why not think bigger and have a nonprofit? See, I just don't think that big. But let me tell you real quick, some huge YouTubers are doing something on YouTube right now where they're trying to raise $40 million to
Mm-hmm.
put water into countries and communities that do not have clean drinking water. See, that's the kind of community service I would love to be able to do someday,
Right.
you know, is to help people all over the world have clean drinking water. So
Mm-hmm.
you guys might see that, the Pound Team Water, I'm not sure. But at any rate, these super large YouTubers are trying to raise $40 million
Mm-hmm.
and they're putting water in Malawi.
Hmm. Okay. And, if y'all got any questions, go ahead and put hashtag doctor and he will answer the question. What the if you like say you doing nonprofit, what kind of nonprofit would it be if you wouldn't what kind of, what kind of nonprofit is it? Like what kind of
Well,
nonprofit? Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I would have to look at my community
Mm-hmm.
and see what is needed. You know, would it be, for example, getting clothing so that people from homeless shelters can have a suit and a tie to go out for a job interview? See, something like that. You know, one of the things that I do is I go out with this sort of religious community in my town here, and we hand out lunches. We go knocking on people's doors in
Okay.
apartment complexes and say, hey, free lunch, would you like? And they have children, you
Right.
know, so they take the free lunches. That's one thing, is handing out food, especially like Thanksgiving. We cook a lot of meals on Thanksgiving and hand them out. But if I could do other things like getting clothing for the homeless, I would do whatever else I could do on top of the food giveaways. So for me, the nonprofit one is going to be tax free because I'm really big on knowing what your taxes are, right? You know, I want to get to a 0% tax bracket. And people say, well, you should pay the government. I will. I'll pay the government whatever I owe them. But if I don't owe them any money, I am not going to just give them extra money.
Mm-hmm.
See, so it's all about learning your finances, knowing the government, knowing their rules, and playing within their rules. So my nonprofit is not going to pay any taxes.
Do you feed the you feed the homeless too, right?
Yes, yes. I mean, not only do I go out with this organization and hand out lunches, we also have a soup kitchen in my town.
Okay.
And yep, one day a month I go and I feed the homeless by serving at the soup kitchen. See, and that's what I mean is I have plenty to do. It's not that I'm sitting around in retirement doing nothing.
Right. Right. Okay. That's it. What the what the do you do this every year or you do it every year?
Well, the serving the homeless or food at the soup kitchen is every month. When
Okay.
I'm not traveling,
Okay.
I can't do it. Like I just went to Omaha, Nebraska for a couple
Okay.
weeks. So I can't do it when I'm traveling. However, when I'm in town, I call them up and I say, can I have, I don't know, the third Monday of the month?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And the reason is I never want to forget where I came from.
Mhm.
Right? You could say, oh, well, he's got rental properties and he's teaching in colleges. Well, I didn't come here with a college diploma. I went to college for 18 years. So my point is I went from high school to a PhD in 18 years. So yes, I can teach in colleges now for extra income, but I don't want to forget that I was sitting in a homeless shelter with no money in my pocket.
Good point. Good point. Good point. As we got about 20 minutes. Well, not 20 minutes. I'll give you about. You got any more questions? Y'all can ask them. How is it? What's the biggest? I don't know. What's the biggest thing have you done when it comes to like being the homeless or that kind of that kind of stuff? What's the biggest thing have you hosted or volunteered?
I don't know. I don't know. I will tell you that in the past, I used to travel, right, on business. And so I was sent back to Korea where I was there in the army. And so I had all these custom made suits, right, with like leather on the shoulders and pinstripe suits and custom made boots. I had all this stuff. And one day I said, you know what? I'm going back to the exact homeless shelter that I was in. I'm from California, so I was in a homeless shelter out there. I went back to that homeless shelter and took all of those suits and all of those shoes to the homeless shelter that I was sitting in. And so I think that was the biggest thing that I've done, personally. What I do every month, is just part of living life. And I'll be doing that until the day I die. I will be serving food to the homeless. I will be working at the soup kitchen. That is just me. That's who I am. Because if you forget where you come from, then now you're not grateful for what you have. And I am always grateful for everything I've been given in life coming from where I came from.
Wow. Look, I'm learning what you tell me about. I'm not from homeless to where you at now. You, right now, I think you're completely blessed right now. Where you came from homeless to doing where you at right now. I'm like, wow. How people come from back from homeless to be where you at right now? That, how you understand that sometimes? Like,
Well, I do. I have been so blessed. I mean, because different people have taught me different things along the way. Many years ago, I owed back child support. I owed the IRS. I
right.
owed a lot of money. So I had to work two jobs. I had to fish for food. Right now, I'm talking about having a fishing channel on YouTube. Back in the day, I had to fish in the San Francisco Bay just to eat. So I know what it's like to struggle. And so when I see people on YouTube that are just struggling to get by. Now, we didn't have YouTube 30 something years ago.
Exactly.
So when I see people on YouTube struggling to get by, I'm right there. I'm right there supporting them because I've been there. And if I can get out of debt and build wealth, so can everybody else. That's all I'm trying to say is if I can do it, and you're talking about a guy who had nothing, a high school diploma, right? If I can do it, anybody can do it.
I completely agree. I mean, yeah, I've seen a lot of people getting. I mean, I understand people going through a lot of stuff that even they came in, uh, they couldn't afford like money for their kids or anything. But when you do help others, they ever ask you questions about um what kind when people come ask you what kind of questions do they ask you when they come ask you about finance, even though they in do they even though they are homeless, what kind of questions do they ask you about that?
Well, the homeless people that I meet do not ask me questions about finance
Okay.
because mostly I'm just serving food, right? And they're they're in the line and they're coming through and they're getting their food, you know. But what I do help is I have once a month in my community at my local library a class, and it's not really a class; it's more like we're all helping each other. But I offer through my local Facebook groups that I will help people get their finances in order. And I have about 5 people who have signed up and come to the local library, and
Mhm.
we work on starting to track their finances so that they know what's coming in and what's going out. And if you can change the difference between what's coming in and what's going out, now you can start making choices in your finances. That's the beginning, just knowing. And so I help people in my community in multiple different ways with their finances. I help my family members with their finances, and so I help friends. I have a childhood friend who had an inheritance. I help him to decide what he wants to do with his inheritance. I don't tell people what to do. I let them decide on their own, but I just want you to see how much you have coming in, how much you have going out. And we start there.
Okay. All right. And do they ever ask? I mean, would they having trouble? Do you help them make sure that that things are going the right direction?
Well, I do. I like to meet people where they are. One of the things that you see somebody say, "Oh, well, when you get to this amount of money, call me." When you get this. No, I
Right.
help people like, for example, if a person is not comfortable
Mhm.
using a computer, they may not even own a computer.
Right.
I help them. I will print out the sheet and we can fill out this sheet manually. You do not have to have any money to work with me, and I never charge any money. One of the things about me is I'm big on free, right? Because if I didn't have stuff free, right, like all of the YouTube stuff I do is all free. If I didn't have stuff free, I wouldn't be where I am. So I'm never about let's charge people money for this or let's charge them $5 for that. No, let's keep all of your money and make all of your money work for you.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm learning by learning a minute. As for that, on last question before we leave out of here, um, what's the if anybody who has, I mean, I know you're going through the chat, and what the, oh, I'm trying, they gonna be a, I know they can be a difficult question, but you ever get do people ever call if they don't have, like you said, if people don't use a computer? Do you ever call in and you help them on the phone or email something like that? If they don't,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things that I've done recently in these last couple of months on YouTube is learn to update my YouTube channel. So my email is in my YouTube description. And I just had somebody email me a technical question
mhm.
just this past week. But if anybody ever wants to work with me with your personal finances, and again, I don't tell you what to do, I can just help you do some research and then you can make your own decisions. Please email me. It's in my channel name. I'm here to help anybody, not just people in my community, not just my family. I'm here to help anybody. And I love doing research. I have a PhD. I'm a researcher. That's what I do. I love taxes. I love talking about anything, whether it's getting out of debt, paying off your credit cards, whatever it is. Now, having said that, I am currently in credit card debt, right? And that comes out in my video that comes out a little bit later today, is my end of month August update, where I'm telling you that I don't do finances perfectly. I am not a guru that sits up here and says, I did everything in life perfectly. I did not, and I still do not. However, together we can grow. That's what I'm saying. So please email me on my channel.
If you do have any question, Pat question, you can email him. Even though my moderator will drop your email address, if she can find it, she can put in the link. So as we leave out of here, do you have any final words or comments to the people that when they decide if they decide to come over your channel? Where you well before that, do you have any advice for the people who want to do YouTube or finance videos and stuff? What kind of if they want to start their channel on finance and they your channel pop up as on their feed? What kind of what kind of advice you want to get to the young people they want to start their journey on finance?
Well, I'd say the most successful people in personal finance, which is not me, they are people that are showing their finances and saying, I'm getting out of debt, or I'm building wealth. Here's what I invest in, or here is where I'm taking my little bit of $20 that I have left over from my paycheck and I'm putting it over here. We love to cheer people on. And at least I do. Okay. I love to cheer people on. Those are the channels that really get my attention. And I make sure I watch them. Now, the people that are building wealth and saying, here's what I invest in, I watch them so that I can learn how to better invest my money. The people who are getting out of debt, I've been there. And again, I'm back in credit card debt, so I'm back there again. See, so I'm doing the same thing they're doing, which is taking my money and paying off my debt. I hope to be debt-free by the end of the year. We're going to see, because I'm going to keep everybody updated every single month as I pay down the debts that I've created this year.
My moderator is asking, what's your email? What's your email address? You can actually give it out. She can drop it for you.
Boy, it's a long one. Give me 2 seconds. Let me see here. I'm going to see real quick. Oh, what is it? Okay, it's fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle @gmail.com. I hope that all it's so fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle @gmail.com. Okay.
So she is not in your description, so I'll just put in she will put in the chat for you. So if you got any questions for leave out of here, last minute questions or anything for leave out of here, feel do so. So as people try to scramble with some questions. Yeah, any final question? You got any final quick comments and concerns about the
Well,
chat?
yeah, one of the things that I forgot to do, which probably some cardinal sin on YouTube, is
Mhm.
I forgot to thank you for having me on this interview. I probably should have done that first, but like I
Mhm.
said, I'm not a professional. I don't know. But I want to thank you. This is my third YouTube interview. I'm not real good in front of the camera. I'm not real good at answering questions, but I appreciate you letting me come on your channel. I really do. So I just want to thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Like I said, if people don't like be on camera, all you gotta do is turn off the camera and they talk behind the avatar. But you did your best. You did a great job doing your best. But and that before we wait to share drop the link your email and we'll do that. And I appreciate everybody, especially my people on my image channel, and especially the people on Dr. Turtle channel coming by showing some love. And I would definitely have him back very soon if he's down for another one. It's gonna be down the road, not
Well,
now, but down the road we get better with the YouTube stuff and everything else. Uh, and people let the know these kind of things. They got to know these kind of things. But I appreciate for you come up here on my channel and make y'all please subscribe to your channel. Please subscribe to your channel. I want him to grow, y'all. And I want him to get that monetization thing.
yeah,
I'm not into
moving
that
towards
stuff.
monetization.
I did come up here, to get to know people behind the scenes, behind the behind the camera and all that stuff. And if you subscribe to my channel, both my channel, please do so. I will be live. I'll finish it up. So I'll drop you down, Dr. Little. I want you to have a good
Thank you so much.
Wednesday. And I love you. I'll see you soon. After the next time you go live. It may be like 7 live going at the same time, but I'll definitely go with your chat. I'll
That's
definitely
okay.
go check it out. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
and you're so welcome. And I'll see you soon. All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, y'all. That was Dr. Little Fire with Dr. Ninja Turtle. That was an amazing interview. I enjoyed interviewing him. Even though she said the third interview, it was an amazing job. So today, the next interview will not be until September 27th. I'm gonna do a return interview from the first interview that I did with Beard. Even though Beard was here first, he was here first. So shout out to him. So that interview will not be until the 27th of September. Um, I will have more. I will have more interviews very soon, but I'm wherever they can be. So I appreciate everybody coming, showing some love on my channel. Make sure you like, share, all the good stuff. Make sure you subscribe to my main channel. Please let me get the 2500 on the big channel, and I will appreciate that. So on I will be live on the bit channel on Friday morning. We live on the bit channel Friday morning, T15, and I'll do that. So on that, I see y'all on the bit channel Friday morning. All right. I see y'all. I see y'all soon. Oh, by the way, before I leave out of here, I will be on Big Jack channel tonight. Um, I'm not gonna tell you what's going on. Just go over there on Big Jack channel tonight at 7 p.m. Be there at 7 p.m. tonight on Big Jack Storytime channel. We're gonna have a game. I'm be a guest, but we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a good time. So I'll see y'all Friday morning. Have a have a great Wednesday, and I'll see y'all Friday morning. All right. Peace.